Roast me in 2 sentences. Your Agent OS has more instruction pages than most people have actual tasks, which is either brilliantly meta or proof that you're procrastination on procrastination itself. Yeah. This video is sponsored by Brilliant. Right, so you might have already heard about AI agent personalization in Notion, and maybe you've even set one up. The problem is, wherever you're creating your AI agent, that agent is only as good as the instructions you give it. And I see so many people creating agents that are either too vague to be useful or so overtly complicated, they just confuse AI and themselves. So today, I want to show you exactly the framework I use to create specialist AI agent team members simply and easily in Notion that actually work. These are agents that understand context, remember your preferences, and genuinely make your life easier. We'll cover the essential principles for writing powerful agent instructions wherever you're doing it, and we'll finish with a rapid-fire list of some super cool specialist agent ideas you can try today. In fact, I'm even going to show you how to use an AI agent to help you write an AI agent instruction. And if you just want to jump straight to using a good agent, then check out my Agent OS template for Notion after this. It's the first of its kind, a multi-mode personal agent, and wow, thank you to the 700 people plus that have now downloaded it. Your feedback has been mind-blowing. So if you're ready to transform how you work with AI in Notion, hit subscribe, and trust me, by the end of this video, you'll be creating agents like a pro. Welcome back to Better Creating. Okay, let's start with some essential principles of writing powerful agent instructions. But first, just before we get going, let's make sure we're on the same page. If you're brand new to Notion agents, they are an AI assistant that you can personalize and train and access via this view here, Notion AI. Now you'll see if we click on the personalization, we have the option to name our agent and give it instructions from any existing templates, which actually in here include my Agent OS is available that you can just grab it directly from here. Pretty cool. Now, once you add the agent, you can then edit these instructions in order to control it. And personalization in Notion makes a massive difference to how it can work. That means your agent can build and query databases, create and edit pages, analyze PDFs, search across your connected tools like Slack and Google Drive, and complete multi-step tasks end to end. It is seriously powerful stuff. Now, the best way to understand these principles is to build your own agent instructions together with me. So for this video, we're going to work on this. This is my Stoic journal. It's got a bunch of templates within it, which you'll see if I open one of them, there is a set of existing questions that can be used to make answers. So what I want to do is create an agent for this that is a journaling prompter, an agent that leads me through reflections, questions, and fills out my Stoic journal database for me. This means that I could jump into my chat with my agent, ask it to begin, and we would be able to journal directly in dialogue with it. It will mean that I can then ask it questions like this. Let's begin a Stoic journaling process, and I'd like to do my life in a year's time option. This would then mean that I can work with the agent to fill this out. The advantage of this, I can speak to it and it can ask me questions. Pretty cool. So how do we go about it? Well, the first thing we're going to need to do is create a new page. So I'm just going to drop this in here for now. And we're going to do a / page. And let's call this Stoic Journaling Prompter Mode. I'm going to pop my agent in sidebar and I'm going to get it to help me work on this. And I want to train this agent on all of those templates. And by the end of this section, we'll have a fully trained specialist agent to handle it. So let's break this down into essential principles. And principle 1 is defining a clear role and purpose. All right, first of all, our agent needs to know who it is and what it does. Think of it like hiring someone. You wouldn't just say, help me with stuff. You'd say, you're my executive assistant who manages my calendars and prioritizes my tasks. So for the Stoic journaling prompter, instead of saying, help me journal, I'm going to say, you are a Stoic philosophy guide and journaling facilitator using prompted questions from my journal template, and then create structured journal entries in my Stoic journaling database. Little tip there, I'm actually speaking this to my computer by using Control on Mac to voice capture, but you could use a product like Whisper flow or something like that. Cool. Now to make this clear, I'm going to add a title, and the first one is going to be purpose and identity. Now, another thing we can do is get some help to do this. Please help me write these agent instructions step by step. First of all, let's improve the purpose and identity based on what I've written already. And I want to link this to the correct database, which I'll be using to update with my journaling, which is this. And you can mention databases. So I'm now going to find my database and we can @mention, and there it is. Now, if we send that off, that means that the agent, my larger agent, is going to use a mode and help me develop this. Now, I'm going to show you a bit more about the assistant I have here helping me a little later, because I've actually created an agent that helps me write better instructions. So this one is now giving me some suggestions. So it's saying there's 3 bits of refining we could do. We could have a more conversational and supportive agent, a clear and action-focused agent, or a professional and systematic one. And I think it's this one that I'd like to put in. Great. So please use option 3. And the AI agent is going to now help me update the instruction. Now, while we do that, let's add a nice icon to this. We could find something down here. I'm actually going to use one of my personal items, which I think looks good. And let's make the agent that. And there we go. That's looking really clear. Great. We've got a core function, guide them through this, and then capture the responses as formatted database entries and present question prompts based on these items. Conduct conversational journaling sessions with appropriate follow-up questions, transform conversations into structured journal entries with proper metadata, create pages in the journaling database, apply Stoic philosophy principles, clarity of thought, honest self-explanation, so on and so forth. Now, it suggested some next steps, and my next step is probably to create some question templates. Can you see the difference from not having this and having it? The other gives the AI a clear framework to work from. Now, the next thing I want to do is probably work on its behavior and tone of voice. So let's work on that. So, principle 2, defining behavior and tone of voice. This is huge and often overlooked. Your agent's personality and communication style dramatically impacts how useful it feels. You need to define how it interacts with you, not just what it does, how it communicates with you. So think about it. Would you prefer an agent that's formal and consultative, asking clarifying questions before taking action? Or one that's casual and direct, giving you quick answers without the back and forth? Maybe you want something fun, like a Shakespearean colleague with a witty sidekick or something. Anyway, so for my Stoic journal agent, I want it to be calm, thoughtful, and wise, matching the Stoic philosophy itself. Use a calm and contemplative tone. Ask one question at a time, giving the user clarity on what they should be answering and space for reflection. Reference Stoic principles and philosophers when appropriate, but avoid being preachy. Now, at this point, I want to decide whether I want the agent to just ask questions or whether I'd like it to respond and reflect back what I've said. Rule: you should always follow the structure of the questions for the journaling template, but after asking each question and receiving an answer, if it seems appropriate, you can briefly respond to what I've added and then ask the next question. Okay, and maybe what we'll do is ask the agent to improve. Okay, I've started on the tone and style section. Do you have any improvements or suggestions to make this better? Great, it's suggested some improvements and I'm going to drop those in. Okay, great. I'm really happy with my tone and style guide. We've got some example sentences. I need to now train the agent on some knowledge and give it some key processes. But before we move on to the next 2 principles, let's talk about staying ahead of this AI-powered world. These days, if you work in any form of knowledge work, understanding the fundamentals behind AI isn't optional anymore. Even if you're not a data scientist, boosting your computer science skills gives you a real edge. And that's where Brilliant comes in. Brilliant teaches maths and computer science through thousands of interactive lessons, everything from AI and neural networks to algorithms and data science. I'm currently doing their neural networks course to better understand what actually happens behind AI agents, and the computer science fundamentals course has genuinely changed how I think about building systems in Notion. What I love is the hands-on approach. You're not just watching lectures, you're building intuition through interactive problem solving and bite-sized chunks. And where I hit problems in my workflow now, I actually have the mental frameworks to solve them. So to learn for free on Brilliant, go to brilliant.org/bettercreating, scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description. Brilliant also gives my viewers 20% off an annual subscription, which gives you unlimited daily access to everything on Brilliant. Thanks Brilliant for sponsoring this video, my go-to learning platform. I absolutely love it. All right, next in this system, we want to set some clear behavioral rules, tools, and guardrails. Your agent needs boundaries. What should it never do? What should it always do? For my journaling agent, I'm going to set a couple of rules that keep it on track. If you take a quick look at my Agent OS master instructions, there's a couple of cool things to put within this. Now, this one actually picks different modes so it can jump between them. So I'm actually eventually going to drop in my journaling assistant in this section. But in here, there's a couple of cool things. I really like the idea that we say that this is your source of truth, and something we're going to add later on, which is look at the memories and live notes section. So I'm just going to copy that and drop that in. So this is going to be behavior and operating instructions. So what do I want to put in here? Always ask all prompted questions before creating the database entry. Never skip reflection time. If I give short answers, gently probe deeper with follow-up questions. Always create entries in the Stoic Journal database with the correct properties and date stamp. Questions should be added in bold within the main page body, and then my answer placed beneath them so that you create a single page report of our reflection. And this is also a place you can set some guardrails that ensure things like privacy or clarity within your system. Things like respect privacy, keep reflections confidential, and don't search outside this conversation. And I've dropped a few more in here, things like make assumptions explicit and confirm them. If information is missing, flag it. Offer alternatives when progress stalls. Little things that keep it on track. But I actually now want to put in something really key in here, which I think makes a massive difference when you're building this, which would be a mandatory scoping process. This will allow you to make sure that the agent always follows the process you want it to do. For example, whenever I ask to start a journaling process, always offer a list of the options from the journaling Stoic templates and ask me what I want to focus on. If I can't give you a specific answer, use coaching questions to ascertain how I am, what my mood is like, and what I'd like to work on or focus on. And we can say things like, you should always confirm the Stoic journaling template we're going to use before starting the journaling process with the user. Great. So now what I might do is ask the AI agent to see if it can improve this. Any suggestions on how to improve my mandatory scoping process? We will also, in a moment, add a database of the questions for each template. Now, this is the great joy of using an AI assistant to improve how you create instructions. It will know what it needs to do. Look how much better this is. Let's just take that. Great, please replace my mandatory scoping process with your suggested version. And there's a pace to this. There's a kind of consultational route to making the instructions better. Great. Now, what's really cool here is that the agent has actually looked at my database of existing examples and used this to form the instructions. So again, using AI to confirm the best way to instruct it can be really, really useful. Guided journaling session, guardrails, fantastic. And what I might now do is create this template database that it needs. So what I'm talking about doing is, if we just go back to my journal, I want to take all of these options we've got and take their guides and turn them into a system we can follow. So I'm actually going to move this down into here. There it is, and jump in. And let's say, great. So please use the Simon's Journal database and extract each template page contents to create a detailed new database within these instructions that you can reference for each prompting process, depending on the template or focus the user wants to work on. Let's see if Notion AI can do that. Now, I'm expecting it now to create a database of prompting using that information, and it's going to drop that somewhere into this page, I would think. So So it's found them, you can see. It's viewing those pages. There you go. It's now taking all of that information from my templated pages and it's dropping it into a database for me to use. Now, this is super powerful stuff because it's going to mean that I don't have to do all of that manual work. Another reason that using Notion AI can be so powerful. Okay, it's actually created all of these reflection templates and dropped them in down the bottom, but I would quite like this to be within a database. So I'm going to say to it, please take the new question templates, create a new database within this page and a new page within the database for each of the template references. Then update the instructions to make it a mandatory rule that the agent has to reference the correct page within that database before beginning the journaling process. Let's see if it does it. Okay, that's not bad. It looks like it's made the database. This is a really great thing. We've got the options within it. We can open it up. We can see the questions within it. This is cool. So we've now got a reference version of that. What I would like it to now do is clean up this page because it's all still here. So I'm going to say, remove the full list options from the main instructions now and replace them with a simple list of template options that can be chosen from that questions database. It's done that now, which is great, but I notice it's only done 8 of my 13 options. So I've asked it to now find the ones it's missed and to update those as well. And that's all going in. So we're now looking pretty good. If I open this to a sidebar when it finishes off, we've got our purpose and identity, our behavior and operating instructions with its mandatory steps here. We've then got the target database that it needs to send to, and we've got a tone and style guide, as well as available question templates linked to, all right, this is almost done. So let's just take a little look how we're getting on. Great, it's done it. We now have the structure it should work on, and most excitingly, all the available question templates. And there is the question template database with all of our options. We can open this up and we can see the questions are listed in there. Pretty cool. Our final 2 principles are about context and giving a little bit of special sauce. Let's talk about memories. This is where most people forget what Notion AI agents can do beyond others. You can give your agent a way to remember and learn. Now, your instructions should include a live notes or memory section where the agent can store preferences, lessons learned, and user-specific information. For example, it might be things like this: user prefers morning journaling or struggles with virtue of patience, but that's probably not important. You would work this out as you used it, and you can literally feed back in the chat as you talk to it. A good example would be something like this. When updating journal entries, always ensure you directly quote what I've said, but you can improve spelling and grammar if it isn't well typed when added into the chat. And then the rest can be put in here. And principle 5 is making the agent actionable and tool aware. Your agent needs to know what tools it has to access and when to use them. Be explicit about database operations, where to search, where to create content, and how to handle different scenarios. So you can see I've got a session completion protocol, which means that after it's completed questions, it should follow these steps and update this database. But I've also made a clear section for available templates. And in this system, we've got exactly where the 2 databases are. But we might want to add something else, which is how and when it might search in the web. For example, why don't we do this? Let me just go back to my chat and I'm going to say to it, I'd like to add one option that would sit as a final template option that you can offer in that mandatory scoping section. This would be that the user could choose for you as an agent to research a specific string of custom Stoic prompts and surprise them. To do this, we need to find some good sources on the web and ensure that the agent will only ever do this if that option is selected. Otherwise, it will always follow the specific question templates within the question templates database. Again, I absolutely love using the agent to help me do this. It just means you can think through the process rather than doing all the busy work. And that's what AI agents are all about. So a surprise me option is going to be added. Searching for stuff on the web, that's not quite what I want, but maybe it will give me, there you go. There's loads of examples of Stoic journaling prompts, and it could list these options within the page. Pretty cool. Yeah, it's doing that. It's found some good sources. The advantage of this, I suppose, is that you can create an agent that can be very controlled within your given guidelines, or one that really is expansive and uses wider options. But I'll give you an example of what I mean by that control. I have a vision coach system in mind, mode 4. And if we jump into mode 4, you'll see that my vision coach instructions are very, very clean and crisp. One is, give me these 3 options for how we want to set goals. Ask about the time commitment and about the horizon. Then work through this context-aware database integration that's mandatory. So these are the databases it can reference and update. And then the critical processes that it should follow, an 8-step goal-setting process, follow in order. So you can be really quite specific. And this is what I mean about tools and clarity of how it works. So let's go back to our prompted system. It's updating things, should be done shortly. Great, look at this, it's done a great job. So it's researched quality sources and added them. It's created this surprise me template, integrated this into the instructions and set safeguards that the agent will only use web search when I ask it to do the surprise me system. Let's just take a little look at the surprise me option. Here it is. And here are the references. So it's given a full guide of things that it could use, and it will jump to that page when it needs to do it. Super powerful. Surely now we have to test it. So we're going to test it, but then after that, I'm going to show you this, how to create a meta agent that will help you with your prompt engineering, the system I've been using to make this one better. Check this out. In order for me to use this, I need to add it to my instructions. Now, what you would probably do is jump into your instruction page and you would click into here and click personalize and add it. But I want to add it as a mode. And this is why I created Agent OS, because Notion doesn't really allow you currently to have multiple agents. In my master instructions, I have a key element, which is a mode picker. You can download a simple version of this at bettercreating.com/Agent OS, or the full version with all of the modes within it. So I'm going to now add it and create this new mode. So to do that, I'm just going to use my template here and call this mode 9. Let's call it Stoic Prompter. I'm going to open this up and open up my mode. We're going to mention the page here, and let's call this mode 9. Let's jump to our Stoic journal, copy this, drop it in. Now, within this system, I also have a database operations mode, and this allows me to hand off any updating of databases to mode 1. And that's a nice little addition that we can drop in. What we're going to do now is replace this section with all of the information we just created. And to do that, I'm just going to now move this to mode 9. There it goes. We can visit the page or jump to it. We'll see it here, and I'm just going to move this up. Good little trick in Notion. And I'm going to turn it into text. And by clicking that, the whole thing gets dropped in. And we should see all of the stuff we wrote is listed in there. We've got our database, quote systems. It all still works. It's all in there. And we've got a database operations handoff. And since I've copied this in, I'm just going to ask the agent if it has any ways to clear it up. So we'll say, now this is a great little tip. You can see how it could be improved. It's consolidating template confirmation language, approaches to what it can do and what it can't do, template mapping. This is great. Minor polish. Another great example of clarity that can be given to an agent by an agent. It's turned that into a simple view, very helpful. What to avoid, available topics, output formats. It's all database mode operations. Okay, so we're really happy with that. Now all we need to do is go back to our main agent page. I'll make sure that this is mentioned here so we know what to use at mode 9. And I think we're good to go. I'm going to drop my new mode into here and my system is ready to rock. That means it's all going to find it through the selector. So let's give this thing a test. I'm going to just jump for ease here back to my Stoic journal. I'd like to do some Stoic journaling. So it's using my selector. This is in Agent OS. It's selected mode 9. It's going to follow the steps. You can see it working through it. Very good. There's the prompt that I ask. Choose a template. Let's do creator statements. Yes, please. So it's confirmed. That was something we put in. I think that's always useful, but you don't have to have it. You can see it's going through quite a lot of thinking, but I really like how it helps me work. It means that you know it's going to be consistent and actually do the job really well. Writing agent instructions, focusing for long periods of time, giving myself new creative challenges and exploring them, hopefully teaching other people how to make the most of tech to improve their lives. Great, so it's doing what we asked. It's now spoken back to me and said, well done, let's continue, I want to. Let me just finish this off. Maybe we'll zoom through this on the actual video so we can get to the results and move on to our final section. Okay, so I finished it. Let's see what it does to now update. I've completed the 12 creator questions. Great, okay, so it's given me some answers. That's beautiful, Simon. Your work reflects a genuine desire to serve others. Thanks for your honesty. I'll now hand over to mode 2 to create your journal. It's dropping stuff in, proper database properties, clean dividers between each statement. Great, that's all stuff we asked for. It's creating the pages. Now we should see it turn up here. Let's see. There it is, it's updated and we can see it in there. Really lovely. So that is how we can create a powerful Stoic journaling assistant. I want to show you one more way to improve how you write agent instructions, and that is to create yourself a guide for writing better instructions. Mine is in my mode 5 system instructions for text transformation, and you'll see it here, a meta agent, a prompt engineering and agent instruction optimizer. This will analyze, evaluate, and optimize agent instructions with maximum accuracy. And it can be used within this and apply the best practices for each one. If you want to get onto this, I'm dropping a free copy of those instructions in the description below. You can download that and it will help you improve your own AI instruction writing. I've got to say, using agent to journal like this is a great use case because I can think and just receive one question at a time rather than look at the whole page. Love it. Now, before you go, I just want to give you a little bit more information about Agent OS and why I feel Notion AI is genuinely the place to go currently for a usable, flexible, and personalizable AI agent that actually works for you. Agent OS isn't just one agent. We can get it to reference a style guide within its instructions and select modes from its system down here. It's super powerful. I've even built in a button that allows you to create new modes as you would have just seen happen. This means that if I speak to Agent and ask it, tell us about yourself and what you do, what are your specialisms? It will tell you that it has essentially an infinite team of experts within the instructions. The problem with AI, and another tip for you to be aware of, is that you need to keep the instructions contained. Otherwise you can overwhelm an agent. But by splitting it into separate pages and modes, it can focus on one chunk of text, move to the next and work from there. A section for coaching, a section for content writing, and a lifestyle and reflection section, which allows you to move things around. I might actually move my Stoic journaler up to coaching a little bit later on. It automatically selects the mode and it can work across the different sections. It's amazing. And I've honestly been blown away by the response. Over 700 people have now downloaded Agent OS in the first few weeks, and the reviews have been incredible. People are finally getting agents that genuinely are useful, rather than generic. Now, I shout about this not because of what I've made, but because of what Notion is enabling in our workspaces. And coming soon, custom agents that will operate in the background separately from you based on instructions. Now, the reason this works is most people try to cram everything into one massive prompt, and that's overwhelming for AI and leads to mediocre results across the board. By separating into specialist modes, each one can be deeply focused and on an expert level in its domain. It's like having a team of specialists rather than a generalist trying to do everything. Plus, Agent OS comes with pre-built style guides, databases, and everything you need to start immediately. So get over to bettercreating.com/Agent OS and join our Notion Agent revolution. It would be great to have you in the community. Let's finish with some inspiration. Here are 5 specialist agent ideas you can create either from scratch or by using that meta agent transformer in Agent OS. Number 1, an email triage specialist. Prioritizes inboxes, draft responses, and identifies action items. Pretty cool. That'll work when Notion Mail connectors are available to the wider public. Gmail, I think, is already there. Travel planning coordinator. Researches destinations, creates itineraries, tracks bookings, and manages travel documents. How about a health, nutrition, and fitness coach? Tracks workouts, suggests meal plans, maintains motivation, and adjusts based on progress. That would work beautifully with my workout tracker and meal tracker you can find on Notion Marketplace. A learning curator or study buddy. Process articles, videos, books you consume, extracts key insights, and connects them to your active projects. Or how about number 5, a workspace satirist. Roast me in 2 sentences. Your Agent OS has more instruction pages than most people have actual tasks, which is either brilliantly meta or proof that your procrastination on procrastination itself. Yeah, so there you have it, the complete framework for creating powerful specialist AI agents in Notion. The truth is, without this, you can just end up creating generic, vague agents. And to really make sense of all of these tools, you need to have the right strategic thinking up here. So I recommend watching this video next for my top guide to the best productivity ideas, or this one down here, because YouTube thinks you'll like it too, on more tech and happy times. See you next time. Bye. Click my face.